Now my voice is audible now.
Yeah, yes, sir, audible.
Okay. So let's we start the demo class on Linux administration. So remember the point Linux administration. So we are going to see the demo class on Linux administration. So we have two types of operating systems. Everybody knows Windows. If you take your laptop, there is a Windows OS. If you go to the internet center, there is a Windows OS. So if you go to any company or organization, there is a Windows OS you can see. So everybody knows Windows because Windows is a most widely used operating system because it is a graphical user interface. So anybody they can easily understand, easy to learn, easy to work. So in Windows, we have two types of operating systems. One is client OS, second one is server OS. Sivanarayana, your audio is not connected properly. So remaining persons, are you clear with my voice?
Yes, sir, excellent.
Okay. Sivanarayana, so your audio is not connected properly. You have to check your side. So everybody knows Windows. Windows is a graphical user interface. So in Windows, we have two types of operating systems. Remember, client OS, server OS. So everybody knows client because in our laptop, my laptop, I have a client OS. Your laptop, you have a client OS. That is nothing but we can call as a desktop OS, whatever it may be. So we have different versions are there. Windows 10, Windows 8, Windows 7, Windows XP. So if you have the knowledge before 2000 year 1995, in the year of 1995, the first Windows graphical edition released, Windows 95, Windows 98, Windows Me, Windows Vista, Windows XP, Windows 7, 8, 10. Now we are using 10. Like client to operating system, we have another operating system in Windows, Server OS. NT 4.0, it is released in 1997. 2000 year 2000 server, 2003 year 2003 server, 2008 2012 16 19. So these are the versions. So in which year they released, so that is they given the version Microsoft Windows Server 2019, 2016, like that. So what is server, what is client? So first to find point we have to remember what is server, what is client. So server provide resources to clients, clients access the resources from server. So remember that point. So for example, I will tell you. So you are using your mobiles or any desktop or laptop, whatever it may be. We are downloading the documents from internet. You are downloading the songs or movies or apps, whatever it may be. We are downloading. From where you are downloading, where it is located. So those resources are located on server side. But servers physically we cannot see. By using our laptop, by using the internet connection, you are downloading songs, movies, you are watching YouTube. Where that streaming records are there, they are in servers. Those are called file servers, live streaming servers, print servers. Like we can have different types of servers. So we have two types of operating systems, client OS and server OS. So we are going to learn server administration, but not on Windows. We are going to learn on Linux. But everybody knows Windows. That is the reason I started from Windows. Now we are going to learn the server administration of Linux server. So Unix or Linux, everybody will confuse. So Linux is a flavor of Unix. Unix like operating system. So Unix, so we have different flavors. Solaris, IBM AIX Unix, HP Unix, SCO Unix. Like that, we have a Linux is there, but it is a open source. So what is open source means? Everybody, every person, they can download the source kernel from internet. You can develop your own operating system. I can develop my own operating system. Somebody else, they can develop their own operating systems. Like that, in Linux, we have different flavors. Red Hat Linux, Red Hat Enterprise Linux, OEL, Oracle Enterprise Linux, Ubuntu Linux servers, CentOS, Fedora Linux, SUSE Linux, Debian Linux, Kali Linux. Like that, we have different flavors in Linux servers. But production environment 24 by 7, whatever the crores of rupees valuable databases we are going to run. So 80% of the market is occupied by Red Hat Enterprise Linux. Then next place is going to be Ubuntu servers. Then CentOS, depending upon the company's requirement, they can use. So we are going to learn Red Hat Enterprise Linux, but you can have one doubt. So when we learn Red Hat Enterprise Linux, so I learned Red Hat Enterprise Linux, but I went for interview, but the company, they are using Ubuntu server, Ubuntu Linux, but I learned Red Hat Linux. Is it required to learn again Ubuntu Linux? No need, because structure is same, concept is same, the way of the configurations of same, but some of the features are different. For example, I will tell you, so we learned car driving on Maruti 800. For example, I learned car driving on Maruti 800. So after learning the car driving, I bought a Maruti 800. 1 year I driven that car. After 1 year, I bought a Benz car or whatever it may be, some other car. Again, I no need to learn the driving. I know the driving, but between the Maruti 800 and Benz car, we have some features are different. So 2 days or 3 days, we can update. Like that, if you learn any flavor of Unix or Linux, whatever it may be, Solaris, AX, HP, Unix, Red Hat, Ubuntu, whatever it may be, we can easily switch into another flavor. No need to learn any other flavor again from beginning onwards, because structure is same, configuration is same, concept is same, theory is same, but some of the commands are different. So those are 2 or 3 commands or 10 commands or 20 commands. It will take 3 days or 4 days time to update the new features. So first we have to know when we are going to learn any operating systems. So if you go for the industry, IT industry, if you go for any company, we have Windows servers, we have Linux servers. Why Windows servers they are going to use? So in Windows servers, we have a powerful concept is there, that is Active Directory Domain Services, centralization of administration. It is a domain structure is there in Windows. So main domain controller India.com. In India, we have different states, ap.india.com, telangana.india.com, like again orissa.india.com, Maharashtra, like we have different states. Again, in each state, we have different districts. So Telangana, if you take Telangana example, Hyderabad.telangana.india.com. Again, in Hyderabad, we have different areas, Ameerpet.hyderabad.telangana.india.com. So this much of tree domain structure supports by Windows servers. That is the reason the companies they are going to use Windows servers for centralization of administration. But Linux also supports centralization of administration, but Linux supports only single domain, means India.com. So flat level domain only it will support. But why the companies they are using Linux servers? This is the main point. So we have a Windows is there. So it is a very useful operating system. Sorry, very easy to manage the operating system. Anybody they can easily understand, easy to learn, easy to work. But why the companies they are using Windows? Sorry, why the companies they are using Linux? The crores of rupees valuable databases we are going to run securely on Linux server. Simple example I will tell. For example, I have a ICICI bank account. So when I go to the bank, if I tell the account number, they will give the complete details. So your account number, your name, your father name, your PAN card number. So everything they are going to provide the information. So like me, we can have the crores of customers for ICICI. The crores of customers information is nothing but a database. The crores of rupees valuable databases they are going to run securely on Linux servers. Remember this point. Why the companies they are using Linux? For security. So somebody they will ask you the question, how do you differentiate the security between Windows and Linux? So somebody they will like Windows, somebody they will like Linux. But Linux is a more secure. How do you differentiate? So we have to know the structure of OS. So what is the structure of Windows? What is the structure of Linux? We are going to see. So here, so left side, see here, this is the Windows OS structure, hardware. Hardware is nothing but you can assume your laptop or desktop. Top of that you installed the kernel. Kernel is nothing but the operating system. That is nothing but the Windows kernel. Top of that we are working. This is the structure of Windows. Now coming to Linux. Hardware, I bought a laptop. Top of that I installed a Linux kernel. So with the Linux kernel, automatically one structure will come here, hardware level, that is shell. Top of the shell we are working. So here you can see the difference between Windows and Linux. In Windows architecture, we don't have a shell. In Linux or any Unix architecture, we have a shell. So shell is the mediator between user and kernel. Shell will not allow you to run any unknown commands. Shell will not you to run any unknown programs. That is the reason viruses will not attack on Linux servers. Remember that point. Because of shell. Built-in commands, built-in programs, they are going to be only work. So as a user, when you give any command, first shell will read. If it is known command, then only the instruction goes to kernel. Otherwise, it will stop. But in Windows, what happening? What you will tell, kernel will do, because there is no shell architecture in Windows. So if you open any one file, if you write any program, if you save the program as abc.exe, whatever it may be, so it will run. So
Hello.
yeah, tell me, who is this?
Hello.
Rajat Kumar, are you speaking?
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir. Sir, actually, what is the difference of Unix and Linux? Can you explain?
You just now completed, just now you joined.
Yeah.
There is no difference between Unix and Linux. Both are same. Linux is a flavor of Unix.
Okay. And Red Hat, what is the part of Linux?
Sorry. See, flavors of Linux: Red Hat Linux, Oracle Enterprise Linux, Ubuntu Linux, CentOS, Fedora Linux, so SUSE Linux, Debian Linux, Kali. These are the flavors.
Okay, sir. Okay. This.
So what is the difference between Rexona soap and Mysore sandal soap?
Sure, I don't idea.
Can you explain me? What is the difference between Synthol soap and Mysore sandal?
No, sir. I don't know. Sorry.
The smell is the different. The ingredients are different, like that. So Linux is a kernel. Some companies, they added some features, they developed their own operating system. Everything is same. For example, so we have cars are there, Maruti, Hyundai, BMW, whatever it may be. We have number of cars are there. So one company, they developed the cars with their own features. Like that, Linux is a kernel. Some companies, they developed with their own features. Everything is same. So if you buy Maruti car, if you buy Benz car, if you buy BMW, features are different. But the concept object
Okay.
is same object. Okay, understand?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, okay. So where we are? So we are in structure of Windows and Linux. So shell is the mediator between user and kernel. Coming to Windows, so somebody they will ask the question, how Windows operating system identify the files? How the Windows OS identify the files? Windows
Sir, Windows,
operating system.
sir, one
Yeah.
question. Windows 10 we have shell, right, sir?
By default, we don't have shell, we have to install.
Okay.
Separate
Okay.
PowerShell, you have to install. By default architecture level, it will not come. So you have to
Okay.
choose the option. You have to choose the option. But Linux or any Unix OS, by default, when you install, shells will come. We have SH, KSH, CSH, Bash,
Fine, sir.
ZSH, different shells we
Fine.
have. Okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
So Windows operating system identify the files with extension names. Remember, Linux will not support extension names. So Windows operating system can identify the files with extension names .exe, .dat, database file, .jpeg, .mpeg, .bat, batch files, .mp3, media player, .doc, .xls, .dll. So like this, Windows identify the files with extension names. For example, you are a programmer, you can open one notepad, you can write some program on that. You can save the file as abc.exe. Then kernel can understand this is a executable files. Then anybody double click on that file, automatically the file will be execute. If you write a virus program, virus will execute. That is the reason viruses will come. If we have a virus in pen drive, if I put into pen drive into my laptop, if I don't have any antivirus, if antivirus is also there, some of the viruses, if you having antivirus also, they will attack. So viruses will come onto my system because in Windows auto.exe files will also execute. So if you put into the pen drive, automatically it will open one window. So this is your pen drive, these are the files. If I write a auto.exe executable virus file, it will attack on your system. And also if you open any unwanted websites, automatically virus files will download. So Windows identify the files with the extension names, but Linux will not support extension names. But the question will come now, how the Linux operating system identify the files? So the Linux operating system identify the files with the type. So this is architecture. Just now I explained you. Again, I am telling hardware, kernel, top of the kernel we have a shell. So top of the shell, I am giving the commands. I am a user. ls command, sort command, set command, who command, tar command. These are the Linux commands. So first shell will read the command. It knows the command, instruction go to kernel. Then kernel will give the output to shell. Shell will give the output to user. Now, no extension file names in Linux. Linux identify the files with type and mode of file. Mode means, remember, permissions. Type of file, mode of file. The file has which type, what is the mode. So everything identify like that. So type of file means normal file, block special files, device files. Devices means our pen drive, tape drive, keyboard, hard disk. These are the device files, character special files, programmable files like that, library files like that. So Linux identify the files with the type and mode of file. Remember, mode of file means permissions. For example, I created a user account with Ramesh. So he logged into the server. He created one file, touches the command to create a file. File name is F1. Whenever the user is created a file, by default, Linux OS provide the permissions. File permissions. The file permissions are divided into 3 portions. So first portion goes to owner. Owner is nothing but a user. So he is having a permission read, write. So the user means owner is a member of AWS group. So if you take any company, you can have number of groups. So if you go for IT company, managers, HRs, team leaders, testing and development, Java developers, different kinds of users we have. They are related to their own groups. Like that, whatever the user I created, Ramesh, he is a member of AWS group. Second portion goes to his own group member permissions. They are having read only. Like AWS, I have DevOps, .NET, machine learning, testing and development, managers, team leaders, HRs. So number of departments, nothing but a groups. Those are called other groups. So whenever you create a file in Linux, by default, you are having read write, your group members having read only, other group members having read only. So when we work with Linux operating system, if you send a file to me, so we are working together. So through network, you can send a file to me. How we are sending? So you can send your resume to me. So I can receive that file. I can download that file. I can modify, I can read, I can delete. No file level permissions in Windows, but we have a file level permissions in Linux. In Windows, we have folder level permissions are there. No file level individual file level permissions are there. What you have to do Windows? So for example, I am telling you, so there is a folder, Durgasoft, right click, share with, see, specific people. So here I can apply permission. Everyone, which permission you want to give, read only or read write. But to individual file documents, I cannot apply the file permissions. No file level permissions in Windows, but there is a file level permissions in Linux. That is the reason. Architecture level, we have shell is there. OS level, when you start the working with your OS, you have a file level permissions. So that is the reason the crores of rupees valuable databases and applications we are going to run securely on Linux. So who can change the file permissions? So the user who created the file, he can change the file permissions. And the system administrator who has unrestricted privileges on the server, he can change any user's file permissions. Then only you can access. Otherwise, you can't do anything. If I send a file to you, you can't do anything. You can only read. But Windows, you can do anything. That is the reason the valuable crores of rupees databases and applications we are going to run securely on Linux servers. So next point. These logical device naming conventions I will explain you tomorrow because these are important. So before going to discuss about these things, I have to explain some other things. But today only demo session. So next to the complete Linux administration classes is divided into 2 parts. One is standalone administration. Second one is network administration. So see, remember one thing, each and every configuration in Linux, we are going to do through command prompt only. There is no graphical interface configurations. For example, in Windows, when I want to create a new partition, I can go for right click my computer, click on manage, graphical mode, everything. So go to disk management. I want to create a new partition, F drive, G drive, or H drive. If there is a free, already drives are there. If there is a free space, I can right click on the partition, create a new partition, automatically it will assign drive letter. The same concept in Linux, we are going to do command prompt only. So this complete Linux administration classes are divided into two parts. First one is standalone system administration. 80% of the interview questions they will ask from the standalone, because we are going to manage the critical applications, critical database servers, middleware applications, enterprise applications. So we are going to run on Linux servers. So as a Linux administrator, you can have a strong skills on standalone administration. Next part, networking. So how to configure the servers in Linux: Telnet server, SSH server, FTP server, NFS server, Samba server, DNS server, Apache web server, Linux Kickstart server, DHCP server. So everything, that is second part. But 80% of the interview questions they will ask from standalone. So what are the standalone topics? Installation of Linux OS. How to install Linux OS? So who knows Windows OS how to install, then they can understand. But Windows, it is a graphic, click next, 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 automatically it will take the C drive, it will install. But Linux, we have to tell. So what is the operating system directory in Linux? They will ask the question. What is the compulsory partitions to install Linux? So what is the compulsory partition to install Windows? In Windows, the operating system directory is C drive. C is corrupted. My OS is corrupted. But the data in D drive, E drive is safe. Like that in Linux, how it will come? I have to explain in depth each and everything. Like the operating system directory in Linux is slash. Not only Linux, any flavor of Unix or Linux, both are same. Slash is the root directory, like tree structure. Under slash only we have different types of subdirectories. So that is we are going to discuss in our coming classes. Next, disk manager. You install Linux. You are a Linux administrator. Database administrator call to you. I want to install Oracle database. I need 500 GB space. As a Linux administrator, you have to create the partitions on the disk. How to create, how to manage, how to make it available like E drive, F drive, G drive in Windows. How to create the partitions in Linux. How to format them. What are the file systems? What is Windows file system? What is Linux file system? So everything we have to discuss in disk management. Next, to booting process of Linux. So every day, every person, you are powering on your laptops, you are working. So just you are powering on, so login screen will come. You are giving your username and password. You are working. What is the booting process? When you power on the system, that particular point of time too, when the login screen will come, what happens background? They will ask the question. But so as a normal end users, we don't need that much of knowledge, but we are going to learn the administration part. You must have that knowledge. What is the booting process of Windows OS or Linux OS, whatever it may be? I will explain both difference. So every day, what I am doing, I am powering on my laptop. It is booting. I am logging. My login screen will come. Background, what will happen when you power on? What happens on the system? How it will boot? In how many phases it will boot? So what is your screen will come? So every time I am booting Windows, which mode you are booting? Nobody tell the answer. What is the mode every time you are booting? 99% they don't know which mode they are booting. So these type of answers we are going to learn. What is the booting process of Linux? This is the 100% interview question. How many phases it will boot? In each phase, what will happen? Everything we are going to discuss. Like run levels. Like in Windows, we have different modes. Safe mode with command prompt. Last one, good configuration mode. Directory services restore mode. Debugging mode. Normal mode. Like same concept in Linux is run levels. Next, group management. How to creating groups, managing the groups. how to create users, managing users, user quotas, how to restrict the users. Everybody, you can see, we have a Gmail account. I have a Gmail account. So I am going to my Google Drive. I have a limitation is there here. So see here left side. So 15 GB out of 15 GB, I am using 13.4 GB of the space. I uploaded so many videos, my Linux video classes, AWS video classes, like Windows Server video classes. So out of 15 GB, 30.4 GB is used. That is my limit. So I need more space. I want to upload so many topics now. So I have to buy the storage. Click on buy storage. So you have to see the how much they are charging. See, 15 GB is free of cost. 100 GB per month you have to pay 130 rupees. 200 GB 210 rupees. I can click on this. I want to buy. They will charge. So like that, when you are working as a Linux administrator, you have to restrict the users. So how much space they are utilizing? Some users they are utilizing unnecessary, so they are copying movies, songs into their home directories. So as a Linux administrator, you have to restrict the users to use unlimited space on the disk. So in that scenarios, you are going to configure the quotas. I want to restrict some particular Sivaram Krishna 10 GB only, sorry, 100 MB only, 500 MB only, 1 GB only, depending upon your requirement, I can restrict. Next, ACL access control list and advanced file permissions. Next, swap management, process management. So in Windows, you can see right click, go to task manager. So here you can understand Google Chrome is running, GoToMeeting is running, Microsoft I opened, Task Manager I opened, Windows Explorer I opened. How much CPU utilization is going on, how much memory utilization going on, how much disk reads per second, write per seconds are going on. So as the administrator, we have to understand these things. In Linux, it is a command line mode. We have the commands. That is nothing but a process management. See, these are processes which are running front ground, which are running background. As a Linux administrator, you have to analyze. So they will ask the question, which process is utilizing high memory? So here I can understand. So this is graphical mode, 0.1% Google Chrome. Yeah, it will fluctuate. So depending upon that, which process is unnecessarily utilizing more space, you have to kill. Now I want to kill task manager. Select this one, end task. So it will killed like that. In Linux, we are going to use the commands. That is nothing but a process management. Next to RPM, Red Hat Package Manager, an operating system. So every operating system is nothing but a collection of packages. Collection of packages is nothing but a OS, collection of software programs. So as a Linux administrator, every day you have to keep your server up to date. Whatever the packages are required, you have to install. If any new versions will come, you have to upgrade. Any unnecessary packages are you have to remove. So everything we have to do. That is compulsory task in real-time scenarios. Next, Yellow Dog Updater Modified. This is a online package manager, because nowadays we have internet connections widely. Our laptop or our desktop or whatever it may be, your mobile also communicating internet. So many times new versions came. Do you want to install or upgrade? We are getting messages like that. How to set up online package manage server on Linux? That is Server. Like logical volume manager, combining the physical disks as a single logical device. Same RAID levels also same like logical volume manager, but in RAID levels you have to tell how the data is going to be read. So parallelly, sequentially, mirroring, and striping with parity. So as an administrator, you have to tell what you required. Like that, you have to configure. Then important task and real-time backup. Every day, whatever the data you are going to take, you are going to use, you have to take the backup. Whenever the data is corrupted, so you have to restore it. As an administrator, that is your job. Like scheduling jobs, so we have different types of scheduling jobs, set jobs and cron jobs daily. So this is a daily task, head job and cron jobs. So see, up to the 16 chapters, we don't have a single word of network. But when we are going to learn Windows administration, first day onwards, install server, install clients, assign the IP address, assign the IP address to client, server, communicate in the network, then the topics will start. But in Linux, because we are going to manage cross-off valuable databases and applications, so these standalone administration parts are very important. Next, second part, we are going to discuss about networking. How to configure Linux operating system in the network, how to assign the host name, how to assign the IP address, how to permanent them, how to update them. So everything we have to configure manually. So Windows, I want to give IP address, right click on the network folder, open networking and sharing center, go to adapter settings, right click on the Ethernet. See, simply right click on properties. So go to TCP IPv4. See, I given the IP address 192.168.0.120 already given. But in Linux, how to give? What is the command? What is the file? How to permanent? So everything they will ask the questions we have to learn. We are going to learn in this first chapter. Next, Telnet server. How to log into your Linux operating system from remotely? My servers are located in US. My servers are located in UK, Hong Kong, whatever it may be, depending upon your company. So how to log in, how to work with your servers through remotely only, where you are not sitting in front of server, you cannot work. So we are going to work with remotely. For example, you are accessing your Gmail. Your Gmail account is not in your computer. Where is your Gmail account is there? Somewhere else. But when you require, you are login. You are sending mails, receiving mails. Like the servers also in remote location only. When your tasks are given, so you have to log in, you have to work, and you can come out from that. Everything we are going to manage, we are going to set up. Everything practically one by one, we are going to see. So how to configure SSH, SCP, file transfer protocol. So every day you are downloading songs, movies, documents, where you are downloading, FTP servers. How to set up that FTP server, we are going to set up. NFS, in my company environment, I want to share files to my developers. Online sharing, NFS server I want to configure. You can configure. Samba server, sharing the resources from Linux to Windows clients. Server is Linux, clients are Windows. How to share the data from Linux to Windows? That is a different platform. This is a different platform. Like DNS, domain name service, name resolution. For example, so I am opening my website. I am giving www.flipkart.com. This is my website. For example, not my website, everybody's website. What is the IP address of flipkart.com? Because every website work with IP address only, because that is a network protocol. But remembering the IP addresses is not possible. We have millions of sites. So you can remember flipkart.com, gmail.com, google.com, rediff.com, yahoo.com. So remembering the names are very easy, but remembering the numbers are not easy. So I can give some number 19.128.168.222 Gmail, 222.120.63.126 Yahoo. You cannot remember, but Yahoo, Gmail, you can remember. But I want to know my Flipkart IP address. Go to your laptop, connect internet, go to command prompt, give the command nslookup. Now you can type www.flipkart.com. So I am typing name. It shows the IP address 163.53.78.110. That is the IP address of Flipkart. I want to know my Gmail IP address www.gmail.com. 172. 217.163.133 google.com www like this, whatever it may be, which website you want to know the IP address, you can know 172.217.163.196. How it is possible? Because of DNS server. If you don't have your DNS server, if your DNS server is down, you cannot resolve with your websites. Sometimes you can check DNS server is not resolving, DNS probe error will come because of DNS is down. So how to set up the DNS server in Linux, we are going to learn. How to troubleshoot the DNS servers, we are going to learn. Like Apache web server, how to configure the websites in Linux. When I am typing www.google.com, gmail.com, site is opening. How it is opening? We have to configure. NIS, centralization of administration. DHCP, dynamic host configuration protocol. How to assign the IP addresses automatically to the clients. We are going to set up. So everybody, you can check your mobiles. You can have IP address. Automatically, your network providers, they will provide IP address to you. Now you are in Amirpet. Now you are in Hyderabad. You are going to Chennai. So when you are moving from one location to another location, IP address will change. How to change? Depending upon the networking, the local DHCP service will assign the IP address to you. Your IP address not fixed, it will be changed. How to set up the DHCP server? We are going to learn. We are going to set up. Like Linux Kickstart server. How to install 100 Linux operating systems through network? We are going to learn. So this is complete Linux administration we are going to learn. If you want to learn cloud computing, if you want to learn big data, Hadoop, Oracle database, IBM DB2, and IBM middleware applications like WebSphere applications, and somebody they want some programming language, they interested in program like Python, PHP, Perl, Ruby, whatever it may be, you must have strong knowledge on Linux administration. Then only you are capable to work on real-time scenarios. So if anybody having any questions, please ask me. I have 7 o'clock, another class is there. If any questions, anybody they can ask.
Sir,
Sir,
7
what is
p.m.
the
which
timing?
class today?
ఎవరండి సురేష్
సార్ టైమింగ్స్ ఏంటి సార్ ఇది క్లాస్ ది 6
Same,
ఏనా
6 to 7.
కొంచెం ముందర చేయొచ్చా
అంటే చెప్పలేము సార్. I have
5:30
daily 10 to 12 classes are there, morning to night.
ఓకే
The fixed timings are going on. We have to think about that classes because I can have number of offline and online classes. Busy with number of schedules.
ఓకే ఆన్లైన్ క్లాసెస్ 7 or 8 ఇప్పుడు ఏదైనా ఉందా సార్
7 o'clock I have already one Linux administration is going on. 8 o'clock already one AWS batch is going on. So maybe it will complete in 7 to 10 days. So in that particular time, we can start another Linux batch.
ఓకే
So, but once anybody pays the money, I will give all my videos link, daily classes, whatever the classes, my previous classes links are there. I will give complete video sessions. So, and all real-time interview questions and answer everything, whatever the documents I will share. So whenever, so if you want to attend that particular regular classes, whatever the timings are there, you can attend any regular classes while morning or evening. That is not a problem.
ఓకే
Sir, today
every
7
time,
p.m. what topic is going on?
Yes, sir. Today, what I explained, my video classes also same like that only. You have to listen.
లేదు సార్ ఈ రోజు 7 o'clock ఏ క్లాస్ జరుగుతుంది అంటున్నాను ఏ టాపిక్
That is LVM is going on.
ఓకే సార్
Logical volume manager. This is going on.
ఓకే సార్
సార్ హౌ మెనీ క్లాసెస్ సార్ టోటల్
Total 16 plus 27.
27 classes every day 1 hour, right?
Every day 1 hour. 27 chapters we are going to learn. Apart from this, first 5 days we are going to learn basics of Linux. After that only administration will start.
How do we sign up for these classes right now?
Yeah, madam, whatever the link you get today,
Okay.
today you got the link. every day you have to log in. First 2 to once you pay, so 2 to 3 classes you have done, then the link will change, madam.
Okay, are we going to receive that information of what is the payment and all that?
Yeah, everything. They will send today. They will send a that feedback mail. They will send in that feedback mail. Everything you have the account numbers, contact numbers, everything you can get, madam.
Okay.
Feedback mail they will send. Okay, maybe within 1 hour or 2 hours, or maybe morning they will send the feedback mail. So each and everything, complete information they will send. And also, if you give
So-
the proper number, they will contact you.
Okay, so from tomorrow, this class will continue from wherever
Continue.
you stopped.
Tomorrow, yeah, tomorrow everything. Tomorrow we are going to discuss about. Already I told you what are the logical device naming conventions. What are the different types of file systems? For example, so every day we are working with Windows. So what is file system? What are the different types of file systems? Nobody knows. So I can go to C drive properties. See NTFS. This is the Windows operating system file system. What is this type of? This is the disk-based file system. So I will explain tomorrow what are the different types of file system, what is file system, disk-based file systems, network-based, memory-based. Every day we are working with these file systems only. If we know or unknown, we are working with. So automatically we are working with every day with file systems only, disk-based, network-based, memory-based. Tomorrow I will explain that. What are the disk-based file systems? What are the network based, what are the memory based, then what is the file system layout of Windows, what is the file system layout of Linux, what is the structure of Linux OS, then what is the compulsory partition to install Linux, and what are the optionals like in Windows D drive, E drive, how to install Linux operating system on virtualization. So because now we are in the virtualization technology, that is also I will explain cleanly. What is physical infrastructure before 2006 year, after 2006 year, how the technology is changed. So we are in the virtualization technology now. Now you can see number of operating systems I have here. Linux servers are there, Windows servers are there, OpenFiler is there, VMware servers. So by using my laptop, I am teaching number of classes. So without buying any other hardware. But in 2006, before 2006, when I am taking classes, Solaris server, 2 servers, Linux 2 systems, Windows 2 systems, VMware 2 systems. So we have to buy 8 systems in the classroom. So 8 into 30,000, 2,40,000 we are investing. But now I invested only 30,000. So I am teaching all classes. So depending upon the class timing, I will give the class timing 3:30 p.m. batch, 7 p.m. batch, 10:30 a.m. batch, like that. So what is this virtualization technology? So top of this virtualization, we are using the cloud now, cloud computing. What AWS they are teaching, what Azure they are teaching. So behind that, we have a virtualization. Behind the virtualization, we have a physical infrastructure. Everything I will explain. Okay, is there any doubts? So by my classes, you can put the experience of 3+ or 4+. Linux administration plus AWS, if you go for AWS, or only Linux, you can put 3+, 4+. Or if you go for Linux plus AWS, you can put the experience of 2+ years of Linux administrator. In the last coming 1 year or 1.5 year, you are working as AWS. If you join my AWS classes, so you can put that much of resumes. So when you are working with the real-time scenarios, you get documentation. If you are the 10 years of experience also, you cannot do your own troubleshooting on servers. Remember that point. So if you put the fake resumes on Java developing, Python developing, they will ask you write down one program and show me output. They will ask you, but administration level, if you have 10 years as an experience also, you cannot troubleshoot your own. So there is a pro forma is there, you have to follow. There is no problem with administration. Grub recovery, see, once you have the knowledge and complete Linux administration, how to recover grub, how to recover super blocks, how to recover boot block, everything we are going to learn. But first thing, you have to learn the core administration strong points, then you can use. Okay. Is there any questions? So same link, you can get the feedback mail tomorrow by, I think they are busy with scheduling the classes, maybe tomorrow morning up to before 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock you can get the mail. So payment options, everything, so they will send to you. They will give the who paid the money, they will give the mail IDs. I will send all the my videos and everything, but every day you have to attend the class. That is better.
How
So
many
somebody
classes
they will buy the
AWS, sir?
videos. AWS also 25 to 30 days.
Plus this is 27, right?
27 means you can take 30 to 35 days, because we have a basics also there. I have to explain first 2 to 3 days. I have to give the scratch onwards. I will explain. I don't explain install Linux, start the commands. First, I will explain what is file system, what are different, what is Windows file system layout, what is Linux file system layout, what is the different types of users in Linux, what is kernel, what is shell, what are the types of files. So everything I will explain. Then I will start the classes. But
So
somebody they
AWS
will
plus
start
administration is combined or both are separate, sir?
separate. Linux is a different course. AWS is a different course.
Okay.
Okay, maybe depending upon my schedules, they will. You can get the mail whenever my demo class is there by Srinivas AWS, by Mr. Srinivas. They will send a mail to you. You can attend the demo class of AWS also. Okay.
When will be the next demo on AWS, sir? Any idea?
AWS maybe 8:30 Monday.
Monday. Okay, fine.
Monday. Then I will explain what is physical infrastructure, what is virtual infrastructure. Top of the virtual infrastructure, we are working with cloud. Everything I will explain clean. Okay. Okay, thank you all. It's been nice. 7 o'clock again. I'm going to log in another class. So we will meet tomorrow. Same link. Tomorrow you have to log in. Okay. Okay, thank
Okay,
you
sir.
all.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.